Whenever I sit down and I try to think about something as huge and impactful as Final Fantasy VII, I struggle to really absorb just how much this game has been a part of my life. I wanted to make this video before the remake is out, as before I upload a 7 remake series, I'd love to take this opportunity to talk about my feelings towards 7. This is not a unique opinion, but it's one shared by millions in how this game impacted its audience through pushing graphical barriers at the time, with exceptional storytelling presented with both stunning art direction and soundtrack to draw you into a world that feels all too real. From the first time I placed Disc 1 into a PlayStation to today, where I can now play Final Fantasy VII on multiple platforms of choice, it has never felt any less special to me going on the journey with Cloud Strife in a desperate mission to save the planet. Honestly, even writing down my thoughts and feelings to compile into a video is daunting because I'm breaking down and analysing something that has been a part of my life almost since the very beginning. I align very clear moments of my own personal life alongside the game itself. This is mainly due to the fact that I had one single save file for years on end that whenever I would overcome an obstacle in the game, it stuck with me. I still have my original save file for 7 that's backed up on PlayStation 1 memory cards, on the PS3 and the PSP, so I can never lose my first experience with the game. And I'll be forever cursed by having every character named correctly, except that on one particular day, I was feeling daring enough to name Vincent Fry. It's a save file where I can remember my first experience walking through the Shinra building after being captured, and witnessing the horror that followed. The iconic music by Nobuo Uematsu, ever present and always nailing the emotional tone of a scene, paired with haunting imagery and a trail of blood that takes you just where you need to be. I don't need to really recap and detail what these iconic scenes of 7 are though, because if you're a fan you already know, and if you're new to 7, these moments are best experienced with your own eyes. To me, it was also the little moments, where I remember my sister and I playing in the kitchen where Mum could watch and have the sounds of 7 burned into her memory until the end of time. The amount of times that Mum would have heard boss battle music, the victory fanfare, and during that, my incessant humming of the repetitive tunes. And that's a time I'll always associate positive childhood memories with. Humming the battle music while I grind enemies endlessly in an attempt to get past the Midgar Zolom, because I couldn't understand the mechanic of catching a chocobo at the time. We've all been there, or maybe it was just me. I didn't finish the story of 7 until I was about 12 or 13 years old. My main reason for taking so long? I couldn't maintain my temperature in the Gaia Cliffs, and I kept passing out. Disc 2 just halted my progress, and I didn't have a guide or friends that played the game alongside me to help me out or give me tips on what I should be doing. I wasn't really huge in the PC world on the internet, so I didn't really have the best access to figuring it out either, so in games like this I was mostly on my own. I kept grinding in the snow, or I'd go and start new games because I still loved the game so much that I just wanted to keep playing, regardless of if I was progressing through the story. The fact that Midgar was such an iconic location and the assault on the Shinra building still remains one of my favourite parts of any game to date made replaying it so much easier. I have the sound for the brakes of the train from the opening burned into my brain eternally due to playing the opening countless times. I eventually cleared this section when I decided to brave the cliffs once again and actually, read the instructions. I felt dumb for taking so long to clear this section of the game, but I felt proud that I did it, finally. Even if it did result in getting my ass constantly handed to me by the boss that waited for me shortly after. That moment that I pushed through a story hurdle just snowballed into me beating the game, and it was truly an unforgettable experience. The exhilarating rush of emotion reaching the big story moments towards the end, and seeing these characters I had spent years getting to know, showing their growth since the beginning of the game. The day I finished the story of 7, I was ecstatic. Seeing that visual confirmation that I'd won, that it was over, and I was being treated to a cinematic finale unlike anything I had ever seen before filled me with such a huge energy. I remember bounding across the lounge room with joy at finally accomplishing the monumental task of beating Final Fantasy VII. Rushing to Mum in the kitchen to share this victory as we celebrated together. And that's one of the main reasons I'm anticipating this remake so heavily. While I already know that I'll be enthralled, I will have my expectations met, and I'll love every minute. I'm just really excited to have a full game experience set in Midgar. The amount of detail and potential even the PlayStation version showed, just with pre-rendered backgrounds and an iconic opening scene showing us this instantly memorable dieselpunk landscape, still really hits home, and I spent years wanting to see more of Midgar. While Disc 3 touches on this, it was a one-time segment where we could not revisit. We're now at a point where this city can now be fully realised and brought to life on the PlayStation 4. The amount of care and passion poured into this project is commendable, as you can tell how important this piece of media is to everyone involved. The game that changed gaming 23 years ago now hopes to once again push that same envelope and set a new standard for not just Square Enix level of quality in gaming, but as an industry-wide standard. The game has been shipped to my country early, and I'm sitting with it right now. It made the video being uploaded even more important to me. As I sit here opening up and installing Final Fantasy VII Remake, I'm filled with a variety of emotions hard to explain, but I hope you'll join me on my playthrough to see my reactions and feelings towards every moment. Thank you so much for watching and listening to me ramble about something I love dearly, and I'll see you next time.